Alright, I'm back on. We have officially finished this area over here. I was a little bit extra, decided to make this little place for fish down here. Nobody's gonna see that. But anyway, I've been thinking about my Terraria videos for a bit, and I think I do kind of want to step my game up with these. Mainly with the thumbnails, and even though I did just say I'm not going to be putting too much effort into these, I kind of want to, because I don't want this to be for nothing. I do want... Oh, I did actually fill this in down here, so we don't have this ugly random floating house up here. I don't know when I'm going to do that. I don't know how I'm going to do that, because I don't know how the hell to do Terraria thumbnails. I'm getting a bit more familiar with it. Now, thinking about what I want to do next. Obviously, you'll probably want me to get on with it and get to hard mode, but I don't want to rush this too much. I do want to build one more area before we start hard mode, and I do kind of want to move to the left. I've kind of ignored this whole side of the world at the moment, because I've built absolutely nothing here. I barely even touched this area over here. One area I do think I've kind of ignored is this place up here. This has some serious potential. And I really like the soundtrack that plays in the back as well, and I think that'd be a really cool place to have some NPCs. I would honestly rather have this playing than the standard village music that starts playing. The main reason I'm thinking about this is because it's not too big and it won't take up too much of my time. First of all, I'm gonna have to remove some of these islands. There's way too many to build houses on. I need to flatten a lot of them, probably make them a lot wider. So I obviously am gonna keep these two islands here because they're the lowest and I can get to them from my house. And I think what I want to do up here is make this a bit of an experimental area. Try out some different styles, maybe go a bit more in depth than my current styles. Okay, I think cutting off this section here and then making this all that I work with is going to be a bit better. Because I need these to be a bit more spread out, also just to make it look more natural. And I don't like how boxy the islands are. I know that's kind of what gives it the aesthetic, but it just doesn't look very natural. And I like the idea with all of these banners scattered around of making all the different houses different color schemes. So I make one brown, but its main striking color is gonna be red, maybe with the roof and the different furnitures on the inside. That sounds pretty clever if you ask me. Sounds pretty good. One thing I've been seriously thinking about doing, actually, when it comes out, is playing Subnautica 2. I am so excited for that game. I've always loved Subnautica. I have replayed it a bajillion times, dude, on Xbox. I think I maybe had, and I've been thinking of asking somebody really special that I've already made a video with to do it with me. I don't think we're really on that level yet, and I don't actually think he likes me that much, but I'll give it a shot once we get to that point. I'm gonna go ahead and start planning out the house. I think I've got a general idea of what I want. So there's gonna be the main house 2-story area here, and then there's gonna be an extra section that comes out and then covers up this hole down here, and then that's when they can go down and then mess with the hanging pots and shit. Hopefully that looks good. Should be pretty simple and easy. Okay, I'm gonna have to go to the painter and get some brown paint and probably just use some other kind of wood, because regular wood is really ugly. Okay, maybe this is when we start actually buying stuff from the painter. I don't actually know how painting works, so you just put it at the top of your ammo and place it, and it's brown? No? How does this work? Do I... Alright, I need to get the spray gun. That is my biggest concern. Okay, I think I'm just going to go ahead and get straight to it. So let's get the general shape of the house started. Okay, admittedly, this looks pretty damn ugly so far. Might have to fix a few things. Okay, let me just see if iron brick walls do any better. It's not awful. Honestly, that's not bad. Alright, I think I am 100% fully done with this island. There's nothing else that I want to add. Only thing else I really would want is for these trees to grow. But other than that, I think this came out fantastic. I also just wanted to pick up the pace, and I wasn't talking for a long time, so this whole thing is probably going to be a time lapse. And biggest tip I can give with buildings like these is to make sure that there's always something to look at. You do not want empty walls. And although if you pay close attention, you'll notice the furnishing is a bit weird. The way there's just a lone kitchen sink. That's strange, but there's no kitchen counters in this game. And I really like my idea of what was it called? Ashwood. The ashwood walls acting as almost like a baseboard, and then you have the main wall. And I went for dry wood instead of the Legion blocks because all the browns were kind of blending together, making it this whole bottom floor look like a one block, and I didn't want that. So beige keeps it within the beige drywalls, keep it in that same color palette, but make it a bit lighter and help everything like the furniture stand out a bit more. There are definitely some different blue elements that I can add in here, and none of these are really a blue like the banners. I feel like that's the biggest issue, but unfortunately it's hard to dye stuff like beds because it'll also paint the wood bed framing. Also, this picnic table, the wood underneath the tablecloth is blue. That's annoying. Adding some extra leaf walls like this can help make it look like there are bushes, so that's a nice detail if you're ever struggling to fill in some space. And I do want to add more of these hanging hot things, but there's just not enough room for that. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I might just time-lapse it and then have some text over it, but I really could not find a treasure magnet. I was down in the underworld for about 30 minutes. One thing that was really cool is these little industrial areas over here. Dude, I did not know these were a thing. And seeing all the pipes and stuff, it makes me actually want to make this lab area down here, and then ignoring whatever this big hole is, and then this ruins area that's going to be down here. Anyway, I think this island looks fantastic. I am so happy with how this came out. I mean, this is the happiest I've been with a build in a while. Well, other than that last bridge I made, that one was, ooh, that one was nice. But this one, ooh, this one's up there. One of my favorites I've made so far. This is taking a really, really long time though. I've been recording for almost 2 hours. Imagine I turn this into one of those hyper edited, really annoying YouTube Terraria videos. I hope not, but... So if I had to give this building a rating out of 10 right now, how I made it, I'd honestly give this maybe a 9 out of 10. Very solid, very detailed, very good, amazing. And I think we can move on. Alright, I'm thinking about the next build here. And I really do like this walkway here with all the planted... Oh shit. The potted plants and stuff, and then I was thinking maybe some sort of porch coming out over here. So I think I'm going to shave all this poo in the way down, and then make this part look like the actual island, and then add a building here, and then the walkway, and then yeah. So let's go ahead and get to it. Alright, this one ended up being really long. I think this next time lapse probably lasts a few minutes, which is a little insane. And to fill up a bit of the silence, I decided to do the ass-crack amount of effort that is a voiceover. It really isn't that much, but I just, like, in my opinion, they're just kind of a pain in the ass. Anyway, I had no idea what I was doing going into this. You know, that's how I build. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do on pretty much anything. I'm just winging this whole thing. And one thing that I do want to mention that I hope some of you will respond to is the pacing with this video. I tried to ramp it up by a lot to, you know, modern YouTube standards where everybody's doing everything at hyper speed and skipping through the hours it actually takes to do this kind of stuff. Because this recording alone is honestly 4 or 5 hours. Mainly the building is what took up most of the time. About both of these islands are about 2 hours long. But I do want some of y'all, if anyone even watches this damn video, I don't know, just please let me know which pacing you like better. Because I know my videos are, the last 3 have been extremely slow paced, and I'm sure that was boring as fuck. But I mainly focused on a lot of talking, and I don't think people were really that interested in that. But then this time I went a lot more build oriented. Nobody wants to hear me talk. You know, what the fuck, just stop talking, get to the building, right? So I'm doing a lot of the building this time, just to see if anything's different. So if y'all prefer the faster paced videos, let me know, or maybe if you're interested to hear some stuff I have to say about my second channel, or my main channel, and have the videos be a bit more slower paced, let me know. Anyway, there's about 2-3 more minutes of this time lapse. I'm actually gonna have to restart this time lapse music because the soundtrack doesn't even cover the full time lapse. So let's just ride this one out and admire the amazing building you're about to see pop up. This thing came out very good. Alright, I just shut up for a while and just grinded this whole thing out. About another 2 hours. I think an hour and 52 minutes I've been recording. Yep. And this one I am also very happy with. I'd say this one's a bit lacking in detail compared to the other ones, because this one was harder to furnish with the awkward dimensions in some areas, and the color palette I'm working with, and I was struggling to find some blocks. I guess what I could do is just throw down a hat rack here, maybe? Okay, this should be the final part of the house. Okay, that should be the last final touch I do. I'm kind of just done with this. Been doing it for too long, and mainly right here, I'm super happy with this, how this came out. Looks super good. Very open. I need to remove this chest and move all my stuff out, and then this should be complete. This part over here looks so good. I like this. So one thing I do want to mention that you might be a bit confused about is I removed the garden brick walls right here and then replaced it with the ash wall and then repainted it, because the garden wall is kind of ugly and the palm wood colors blended in way too well, so if I added any furniture or something, it would blend in a bit too well and then you wouldn't really notice it. And I wanted this part to look actually really incorporated into the house and also make it feel very open, which is why there's really big windows. There's no doors here. The doors just kind of made this whole house look too tiny, not very well connected. And then having the 2 stories here with this outside area and then the extra trees up here, and then also this whole, this really isn't, there's not much here, unfortunately. And then there's this extra porch side hanging off here. This, dude, this house is, the shape is very unique. I think it does tie everything together really well. It makes it look like every part of this land is being used in some way, and that is so nice to me. I guess if y'all have any tips, maybe something I should change, feel free to let me know. Or any block recommendations. You might have noticed, I don't really want to do voiceovers, so I'm just say this now. You might have noticed multiple times during the time lapse I was standing still just looking at the crafting window here. That's just because I didn't know what blocks to use. That's why I ended up using dry walls for the, I ended up using dry wood for the walls again, because I didn't know what to use. And then with the windows, I just decided to use ebon wood because it was a different color, not too far off the color palette, and I don't know what else to use. And I guess that's everything. I really didn't have to try with the green color, with the roofs being so bright green. I could add a few banners and just call it a day. I love how alive and warm this island looks too. Very earthy. Super happy with how this came out. I give this one maybe an 8.5 out of 10. It could be a little bit better furnished, but I'm out of ideas and I kind of need to move on. So this one, amazing. Really glad with how it came out.